Build curiosity by teasing the superfood without naming it immediately. Share a quick personal observation or clinical insight that makes people rethink their health habits. Keep sentences short, clear, and conversational. Use rhetorical questions to keep the audience engaged. End the intro by promising that the surprising superfood will change the way they look at nutrition forever. Have you ever stopped and wondered, why am I tired all the time, even though I eat 3 meals a day? Why am I still gaining weight when I'm eating what people call healthy? Why do I lack mental clarity, motivation, or even good sleep, despite following the so-called balanced diet? Here's the truth: most people today are nutrient deficient, even though they eat regularly, even though their plates look full. And this, my friends, is one of the biggest hidden problems in modern health. Let's unpack why. The illusion of eating enough: when you put fuel in your car, you expect it to run smoothly, right? But what if you filled your car with dirty gasoline? Low-quality fuel stripped of the key additives? Sure, the tank would be full, but the engine would sputter, stall, and wear out much faster. That's exactly what's happening in our bodies. Yes, we eat 3 times a day. Yes, we feel full. But fullness is not nutrition. Calories are not the same as nutrients. You can pack your stomach with bread, cereal, or pasta and still starve your cells of the vital raw materials they need. This is what's happening in our modern diet. People are calorie sufficient but nutrient deficient. The myths of modern, healthy eating. Let's look at a few myths people believe. Whole grains are superfoods. Most grains today are processed, hybridized, or refined. Even the so-called whole grains are stripped of minerals during storage, farming, and milling. Compare ancient wheat to modern wheat, and you'll see it's higher in starch, lower in nutrients. Low fat equals healthy. For decades, people were told fat was the enemy. So what happened? We cut out butter, eggs, and nutrient-rich animal fats, replacing them with margarine and vegetable oils. The result? We lost vitamins like A, D, E, and K, the fat-soluble ones crucial for hormones, bones, and immune function. Packaged foods with added vitamins are just as good. Look at your breakfast cereal box. It says, fortified with 12 essential vitamins and minerals. Sounds great, right? But those are synthetic isolates, not the complex nutrients found in whole foods. It's like replacing a symphony orchestra with one guy playing the flute. It's just not the same. As long as I'm not overweight, I'm healthy. Huge myth. Nutrient deficiencies can exist in thin people too. Energy crashes, brain fog, brittle nails, dry skin. These are not just cosmetic issues. They're signals from your body that something critical is missing. What's really missing? Think about it. Your body is like a factory. It runs 24/7. Every enzyme, hormone, neurotransmitter, and cell repair process depends on tiny sparks of life called micronutrients. Vitamins, minerals, trace elements, phytonutrients. Now imagine running a factory without screws, bolts, or oil. Machines may run for a while, but sooner or later, things start breaking down. That's what's happening to our health. Yes, we get the big stuff: proteins, carbs, fats, but we're missing the small but mighty nutrients that make everything actually work. The silent consequences of deficiency. Here's where it gets scary. Deficiencies don't show up immediately. They creep in slowly. Energy without B vitamins, iron, and magnesium. Your cells can't make ATP, the actual fuel for life. You may eat but still feel like your battery never charges. Weight without nutrients. Your metabolism slows. The body craves more food, searching for what's missing, so you snack more, gain weight, and never feel satisfied. Mental clarity. The brain depends on omega-3s, zinc, iodine, and vitamin D. Without them, brain fog, poor focus, low mood, even depression. Long-term health deficiencies quietly set the stage for bigger issues: weak bones, poor immunity, inflammation, and chronic disease. It's not just about looking good in the mirror. It's about whether your body has the raw materials to repair, regenerate, and thrive. Why packaged food is part of the problem? Here's the kicker: even if you try to eat healthy, packaged foods sabotage your efforts. Take lettuce shipped across the country. It's lost half its vitamin C by the time it hits your plate. Processed foods are worse: stripped, bleached, pasteurized, then enriched with fake nutrients. It's like taking the gold out of a coin, then spray painting it yellow and calling it valuable. No wonder people are tired, overweight, and medicated. They're living in a nutrient famine, even while surrounded by food. Setting up the solution. So here's the big question. If the problem is widespread nutrient deficiency, what's the solution? It's not popping another multivitamin. It's grabbing low-fat yogurt with added sugar. It's not eating bigger portions. The real solution lies in nature itself. There is one particular natural food, an overlooked superfood, that contains an incredible density of the very nutrients most people are missing. And once you start adding this food into your diet, something amazing happens. Energy rises, cravings drop, weight stabilizes, and your brain feels sharper. It's like giving your car the premium oil it always needed. Suddenly the engine runs smoothly again. In the next section, I'll reveal exactly what that food is, why it's ignored, and how it can fill in the missing gaps that keep most people stuck in fatigue, weight gain, and poor health. But first, remember this: eating 3 meals a day doesn't guarantee nutrition. Unless you choose the right foods, your body will always run on empty. Let me ask you something. What if the solution to fatigue, brain fog, and slow metabolism was not another diet trend, not another supplement, not another complicated plan, but something so simple, so ancient, and so powerful that it's been hiding in plain sight? Imagine a food so nutrient-dense that just a small amount could outshine a whole plate of so-called healthy meals. A food that contains the very minerals most people are lacking, the ones your body literally cannot make on its own. Now, here's the big reveal. This ignored superfood is seaweed. Yes, the very same seaweed that grows in our oceans. The food many people overlook, or at best, push to the side of their sushi roll. Yet, this humble plant from the sea may just be the missing link in modern nutrition. Why seaweed is nature's multivitamin? Let's break this down. Seaweed is one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet. Iodine. Most people are severely deficient in iodine, a mineral critical for your thyroid, the gland that controls your metabolism, energy, and even your ability to lose weight. Seaweed is one of the richest natural sources of iodine. Without iodine, your thyroid is like a light bulb with no electricity. It simply can't shine. Trace minerals. Seaweed absorbs minerals from ocean water, giving it a profile of over 70 trace elements: zinc, selenium, manganese, and iron, all in forms your body can actually use. Land-grown crops can't compete because our soils today are depleted. Chlorophyll and antioxidants. Seaweed is loaded with chlorophyll, the green pigment that helps detoxify your liver and purify your blood. It also contains unique compounds like fucoidan, which studies suggest support immune health and even healthy aging. Vitamins. Seaweed packs vitamin A, C, E, K, plus B vitamins like folate and riboflavin, all essential for brain, skin, and cellular energy. This is why I call it nature's multivitamin. But unlike the synthetic pills you find in the store, seaweed delivers these nutrients in their natural, bioavailable forms, the way your body was designed to absorb them. How it stacks up against popular superfoods. Let's do a quick comparison. Kale is known as a superfood, but seaweed contains 10 times more calcium than kale. Spinach is praised for iron, but seaweed contains 3-5 times more iron. Animal liver is nutrient-rich, but seaweed brings in the one thing liver lacks: iodine. Even compared to multivitamin supplements, seaweed often wins because the minerals in seaweed are bound to natural plant compounds, making them more absorbable. So while people are chasing after kale smoothies or spinach salads, a small serving of seaweed could actually fill in more of the nutrient gaps, especially the ones most people are struggling with. Why did we forget about seaweed? Here's the real question: if seaweed is this powerful, why isn't it a daily staple in every diet? There are a few reasons. Cultural habits. In many Western countries, seaweed simply isn't traditional. Meanwhile, in places like Japan and Korea, where seaweed is eaten daily, rates of obesity and thyroid issues have historically been much lower. Food marketing. The food industry promotes cereal, bread, and packaged snacks, not seaweed. There's no billion-dollar advertising campaign for kelp or nori. The strange factor. Let's be honest. Most people don't know what to do with seaweed. It looks unusual, it tastes salty, and people are unfamiliar with preparing it, so it gets ignored. The convenience trap. Packaged foods are easy. Seaweed requires a little intention. But trust me, the payoff is worth it. In other words, this tiny food has been hiding in plain sight because it doesn't fit into the standard Western plate, and yet it could be the very thing missing from that plate. How seaweed fills the gaps. Let's tie this back to the bigger picture. In the last section, we talked about how most people are nutrient deficient even though they eat 3 meals a day. They're like cars with a full tank of fuel but no oil in the engine. Well, guess what? Seaweed is the oil. It provides the rare nutrients, the iodine, the trace minerals, the antioxidants that actually keep the engine of your body running smoothly. If your thyroid is sluggish, seaweed provides the iodine to kickstart metabolism. If you're tired and foggy, the minerals in seaweed help your cells make energy more efficiently. If your immune system feels weak, compounds like fucoidan support defense and repair. This is why I say this tiny food could fill the gaps in your diet. It's not about eating more, it's about eating smarter. The impact could be life-changing. Think of it like this: if you've been running on low-grade fuel for years, your body is worn out. But once you start giving it the nutrients it craves, things change quickly. Energy comes back, cravings calm down, the brain wakes up, the thyroid stabilizes. This isn't hype, it's just biology. When you give the body the raw materials it needs, it knows exactly what to do. And seaweed, this overlooked natural food, just happens to contain many of those missing raw materials. That's why I call it the most ignored superfood in the world. In the next section, we'll dive into how you can practically add seaweed into your diet without making it complicated, without turning your meals upside down, and without spending a fortune. Because at the end of the day, knowledge is power, but application is transformation. So remember this when it comes to nutrition: bigger isn't always better. Sometimes the smallest, most humble food, like seaweed, is the missing link your body has been waiting for. So now that we've uncovered seaweed as the most ignored superfood on the planet, let's get into the science. And don't worry, I'm not going to throw complicated medical jargon at you. I want you to clearly understand what this food does in the body, why it matters, and how it could transform your health. Because the truth is, seaweed isn't just healthy, it's scientifically powerful. 1. Seaweed and the thyroid, the metabolism switch. Your thyroid gland is a small butterfly-shaped organ in your neck, but it controls the speed of almost everything in your body: your metabolism, your energy, even your mood. Now, what mineral does the thyroid depend on more than anything else? Iodine. Without iodine, your thyroid simply can't make its hormones, T3 and T4. It's like trying to bake bread without flour. It just won't happen. Seaweed happens to be the richest natural source of iodine on Earth. This means when you consume it, you're supplying the very ingredient your thyroid needs to function. And here's the kicker: most people today are deficient in iodine because our soils no longer contain it. Low iodine, low thyroid function, and low thyroid function fatigue, weight gain, hair thinning, feeling cold, and brain fog. That's why when you add seaweed, you're not just eating food, you're literally turning the dimmer switch of your metabolism back up. 2. Seaweed and energy, cellular fuel. Let's zoom in deeper. Every cell in your body has tiny power plants called mitochondria. These are what generate ATP, the actual fuel that powers every thought, movement, and heartbeat. For mitochondria to work, they need minerals: magnesium, iron, manganese, copper, and selenium. Without these, the power plants slow down, and you feel it as fatigue, low stamina, or brain fog. Seaweed contains dozens of these trace minerals in natural form. Think of it like adding high-quality spark plugs back into your car engine. Suddenly, the ignition fires properly, and you feel energy again. Not from caffeine or sugar, but from your own cells. 3. Seaweed and brain function. The mental edge: your brain is about 2% of your body weight, but uses 20% of your energy. No wonder it's the first organ to suffer when you're nutrient deficient. Iodine supports brain development and mental clarity. In fact, historically, populations living near the sea, where iodine intake was higher, had lower rates of cognitive decline. B vitamins in seaweed support neurotransmitter production. These are the chemical messengers that keep your mood stable and your mind sharp. Omega-3s found in some seaweeds directly support the structure of your brain cells, like insulation on electrical wiring. This is why people who start adding seaweed often report clearer thinking, better focus, and even improved mood. 4. Seaweed and detoxification, nature's cleansing system. Every day, your body encounters toxins, chemicals from food packaging, heavy metals, pollutants, even residues from tap water. If these build up, they cause inflammation, hormonal disruption, and long-term health issues. Seaweed helps in 2 ways. Chlorophyll, the green pigment, acts like a natural cleanser, binding to toxins and supporting liver function. Alginates, unique compounds in seaweed, bind to heavy metals like lead, cadmium, or mercury and help remove them from the body. It's like having a natural filtration system inside you, constantly cleaning house so your body can perform at its best. 5. Seaweed and immunity, building your defense. Your immune system is your body's army. But an army is only as strong as its supplies. Seaweed is loaded with compounds that arm your immune cells. Fucoidan, a special carbohydrate unique to brown seaweeds, has been studied for its ability to support immune defense and even promote healthy cell function. Vitamin C and zinc, two of the most essential immune nutrients, are naturally present in seaweed. Antioxidants in seaweed help neutralize free radicals that weaken your defenses. That's why in Asian cultures, where seaweed soups are a staple during illness or recovery, people have used it for centuries as a natural immune booster. 6. Seaweed and hormone balance more than just the thyroid. We've already talked about thyroid hormones, but iodine and minerals in seaweed also impact other hormones. The pituitary and adrenal glands rely on trace minerals like manganese, selenium, and magnesium, all found in seaweed. Female hormones, estrogen and progesterone, depend on proper liver detoxification and mineral balance, both of which seaweed supports. Even insulin, the hormone that controls blood sugar, is influenced by minerals like chromium and vanadium, again present in seaweed. In other words, seaweed isn't just for metabolism, it's for your entire hormonal orchestra. 7. History and tradition proof in longevity. Let's not forget history. Cultures that regularly consumed seaweed, like the Japanese, Koreans, and coastal communities around the world, have historically enjoyed lower rates of obesity, thyroid disease, and certain degenerative conditions. For example, Japan, where seaweed is a daily staple, consistently ranks among the top countries for life expectancy. That's not a coincidence. Even in ancient Europe, seaweed was prized as medicine for goiter, a thyroid condition caused by iodine deficiency. Long before lab coats and microscopes, people recognized its healing power. The bottom line, science confirms what traditional cultures already knew. Seaweed is the missing link. It powers your thyroid, your metabolism switch. It fuels your mitochondria, your energy factories. It supports your brain, your immune system, your detox pathways, and your hormones. And here's the best part, you don't need massive amounts. Just a little seaweed consistently can fill the nutrient gaps left by our modern diet. This is why I call seaweed the most ignored superfood in the world. It's not flashy, it's not trendy, but it's effective. And if you give your body the raw materials it needs, it knows exactly how to heal, repair, and thrive. Now that you know why seaweed is the most ignored superfood in the world, the next big question is, how do I actually use it? Because let's be honest, most people don't have a clue what to do with seaweed. It's not like kale, spinach, or chicken. You don't just toss it on a plate. So let's make this simple. By the end of this section, you'll know exactly how to buy it, how to prepare it, and how to add it to your meals without making drastic changes, without spending a fortune, and without forcing yourself to eat something that tastes like the bottom of the ocean. 1. Buying seaweed. What to look for. The good news is, seaweed is widely available, you just need to know where to look. Nori sheets, these are the thin, dark sheets used to wrap sushi. You can buy them roasted or plain, usually in packs. They're crisp, light, and easy to snack on. Kelp granules or flakes, these look like a seasoning. You can sprinkle them on soups, salads, or even eggs. Dried wakame or kombu, these come in strips or pieces. You soak them in water for a few minutes, and they expand into soft greens you can add to soups or stir fries. Seaweed powders, kelp, spirulina, or chlorella powders can be mixed into smoothies. They're concentrated and easy to use in small amounts. When buying, look for organic, clean sources. Because seaweed absorbs minerals from the ocean, you want to avoid varieties that may come from polluted waters. Stick to trusted brands that test for heavy metals. 2. Addressing hesitations. Let's tackle the big objections. But I don't like the taste. Seaweed does have a salty, ocean-like flavor, but remember, you don't need much. A pinch of kelp flakes is like adding a dash of seasoning. It enhances flavor rather than overpowering it. It's too expensive. Compared to supplements, seaweed is cheap. A $5 bag of kelp flakes can last you a month. Nori packs often cost less than a cup of coffee. And because it's so nutrient-dense, a little goes a long way. I don't know where to buy it. You can find seaweed in most grocery stores, usually in the Asian or health food aisle, online retailers, and health food stores. It's more common than people realize. So really, the barriers are more about perception than reality. 3. Easy ways to add seaweed to your diet. The key is simplicity and consistency. You don't have to transform your meals, you just sneak it in. Here are some practical ideas. Sprinkle flakes on your meals. Add kelp or dulse flakes onto eggs, soups, or salads. You won't even notice the taste, but your body will notice the nutrients. Upgrade your smoothies. Add a teaspoon of spirulina or chlorella powder into your morning smoothie. It will give a rich green color and a mild earthy flavor. Snack on nori sheets. Keep roasted nori packs in your pantry. They're crunchy, light, and surprisingly satisfying. They're also a much healthier alternative to chips, seaweed soups. Add dried wakame into miso soup or bone broth. It expands quickly and blends right in. Mix into rice or quinoa. Sprinkle kelp granules into rice, quinoa, or even cauliflower rice. It adds minerals without changing texture. Season meats and fish. Use kelp flakes instead of, or in addition to, salt when cooking. It adds flavor while boosting trace minerals. The goal isn't to eat a plateful of seaweed, it's to make it part of your daily routine in small, effortless ways. 4. Simple recipe ideas. Here are a few quick ways to get started. Mineral. Rich morning smoothie: 1 cup unsweetened almond milk, 1 handful spinach, banana, 1 tablespoon flaxseed tea, teaspoon spirulina powder. Blend until smooth. Seaweed egg scramble: 2 or 3 eggs, a pinch of kelp flakes, a handful of chopped veggies. Cook as usual. The kelp enhances flavor and adds minerals. Quick seaweed salad. Soak dried wakame in water for 5 minutes. Drain. Toss with sesame oil, rice vinegar, and sesame seeds optional. Add sliced cucumber for crunch. Nori roll. Ups. Take a nori sheet, spread avocado or hummus, add sliced veggies or smoked salmon, roll and enjoy as a snack. These recipes prove that seaweed doesn't have to be weird. It's versatile, simple, and surprisingly tasty when paired with the right foods. 5. The power of consistency. Here's the most important thing: a little goes a long way. You don't need giant bowls of seaweed every day. Just a pinch here, a sheet there, half a teaspoon in your smoothie. Over time, this builds up and supplies your body with the missing nutrients. Think of it like brushing your teeth. Doing it once a month won't work, but a little bit every day keeps your mouth healthy. Seaweed works the same way. Consistency beats quantity. 6. The cheapest health hack most people overlook. Here's what's crazy: people will spend hundreds of dollars on supplements, detox programs, and superfood powders that often don't deliver. Meanwhile, seaweed, one of the most nutrient-dense foods on Earth, sits ignored on the grocery shelf for just a few bucks. This is one of the cheapest and most efficient health hacks you'll ever find. And it doesn't require willpower, strict dieting, or complicated rules. It just requires adding a little seaweed to your routine. Final thought: when you think of superfoods, don't get distracted by exotic berries or trendy powders. Sometimes, the true powerhouse foods are the simplest and most ancient. Seaweed has been nourishing coastal cultures for thousands of years. It's time to bring it back into our modern diets. So start small. Add a pinch to your next meal. Keep it consistent. Over weeks and months, you'll notice subtle but powerful changes: more energy, better focus, improved metabolism. Remember, health is not about eating more. It's about eating smarter. And seaweed might just be the smartest addition you can make. Let me be direct with you. Ignoring seaweed in your diet is not just missing out on a nice-to-have superfood. It's setting yourself up for nutrient deficiencies that ripple through every system of your body. Because when you strip away the hype, here's the reality: your body cannot function without iodine and trace minerals. And since the modern diet is almost completely void of them, most people are walking around with the lights dimmed, the engine sputtering, and the battery nearly drained. This is why fatigue, thyroid issues, weight struggles, brain fog, and immune weakness are everywhere. And the sad part, most people have no idea the root cause is so simple: the modern diet vs. what the body actually needs. Let's start with the problem. The modern diet is built on refined carbs, packaged foods, and produce grown in mineral-depleted soil. Even if you eat 3 meals a day, you're not getting the deep nutrition your body craves. The body, on the other hand, needs micronutrients, especially iodine, selenium, magnesium, and other trace minerals to keep the thyroid running, the brain sharp, the immune system strong, and the metabolism firing. Without these, it's like trying to run a factory with no tools. Machines break down, systems slow, and eventually the entire operation collapses. That's the danger of ignoring seaweed. It contains the very nutrients missing from modern food. 1. Thyroid issues. The metabolism switch stuck on low. Your thyroid is like the thermostat for your body. It sets the pace for metabolism, energy, and even body temperature. But without iodine, your thyroid can't produce its key hormones. Period. Result: low thyroid function. This means fatigue, unexplained weight gain, thinning hair, brittle nails, dry skin, and even depression. Goiter, an enlargement of the thyroid, was once common worldwide because of iodine deficiency. It's still an issue in regions without iodine-rich foods. Now, here's the problem: the Western diet contains almost zero iodine. Decades ago, people got iodine from seafood and even bread when iodine was used as a dough conditioner. Today, it's been replaced by bromide, a chemical that blocks iodine. This is why ignoring seaweed, the richest natural source of iodine, is like cutting the power supply to your thyroid. And when the thyroid goes down, everything slows. 2. Fatigue running on empty. Have you ever felt like no matter how much you sleep, you're still tired? That's not a caffeine problem. It's a nutrient problem. Your cells need trace minerals to produce ATP, the actual energy currency of your body. Without them, your mitochondria sputter. The average diet supplies plenty of calories but almost no trace minerals. And guess what? Seaweed contains over 70 of them. Ignore it, and you're choosing to run your engine without spark plugs. 3. Weight problems, a body stuck in storage mode. When your thyroid slows down due to lack of iodine, your metabolism shifts into storage mode. Your body hoards fat because it thinks resources are scarce. So you can count calories, try fad diets, and even over-exercise, but if your thyroid is underpowered, the scale won't budge. This is why iodine deficiency, caused by ignoring foods like seaweed, is directly linked to stubborn weight gain. 4. Brain fog and poor focus. Your brain runs on oxygen, glucose, and nutrients. Iodine is especially critical for brain health. In fact, iodine deficiency during pregnancy is the leading cause of preventable intellectual disability worldwide. But even in adults, low iodine leads to poor focus, memory lapses, mood swings, and brain fog. Add in deficiencies of B vitamins, magnesium, and omega-3s, nutrients seaweed provides, and you've got the perfect recipe for a tired, foggy brain. Ignoring seaweed doesn't just affect your body, it dims your mental sharpness, your creativity, and even your mood. 5. Immune weakness, an army without weapons. Your immune system is your defense force. But what happens when soldiers don't have weapons or fuel? They can't fight. Seaweed contains fucoidan, vitamin C, zinc, selenium, and antioxidants that directly support immune strength. Without these, your body struggles to defend against infections and inflammation. This is why nutrient deficiencies are linked not just to fatigue, but also to frequent colds, slow recovery, and greater susceptibility to chronic disease. The global health problem nobody talks about. This isn't just about individuals, it's a worldwide crisis. According to the World Health Organization, iodine deficiency affects nearly 2 billion people globally. That makes it one of the most widespread nutrient deficiencies in human history. Think about that. Almost 1/3 of the world is running on low thyroid function, low energy, low immunity, all because the modern diet forgot a single essential mineral. And in places where seaweed or iodine-rich foods are staples, these problems are dramatically lower. That's not coincidence. It's cause and effect. The urgency of taking action. Here's the bottom line. Ignoring seaweed is a huge mistake. It's not optional. It's not trendy. It's essential. When you cut seaweed out of your diet, or never add it in, you're choosing a slower metabolism over a healthy weight, constant fatigue over abundant energy, brain fog over mental clarity, weak immunity over resilience, and the worst part, most people keep chasing solutions, pills, energy drinks, fad diets, while ignoring the simple, natural food that could solve the root problem. Final word, don't miss the missing link. If you take nothing else from this, remember, ignoring seaweed is ignoring your body's basic needs. It's not about eating more food. It's about eating the right food, the one that supplies the missing nutrients our modern diet no longer gives us. Seaweed is the missing link. It can fill the gap, but if you choose to ignore it, the consequences are real: low thyroid, low energy, poor focus, stubborn weight, and weak immunity. So the choice is simply keep running on empty or fuel your body with what it truly needs. Don't wait until your body breaks down to realize what was missing.